All right, let's dive into something that might just change how you see, well, everything. We're going to explore a really radical idea today, that reality itself has a hidden architecture. And to unpack it, we're starting with a single, kind of baffling event from an ancient text that really challenges our whole understanding of matter and what it means to exist. So we begin right here with this incredibly powerful and, cryptic verse from the Quran. You've got this direct divine manifestation, a mountain literally turning to dust, and the prophet Mūsā, or Moses, right at the center of this cosmic event. And this immediately brings up a huge question. How is it possible that a mountain, the very symbol of permanence and solid rock, is just completely annihilated, while a person standing in the face of that exact same force survives? Well, the material we're looking at today suggests the answer isn't about mysticism, but about the fundamental architecture of the universe itself. Okay, so to solve this mystery, we first have to get our heads around the core idea of what's called the dual caustic model. It basically says that reality isn't just one single thing happening. Instead, it's the result of two fundamental fields constantly interacting with each other. Now, that place where these two fields meet and focus, it's called a caustic. The easiest way to picture this is to think of the bright, shimmering line of light you see at the bottom of a swimming pool on a sunny day. That line is a caustic. And in this model, everything, and I mean everything from a galaxy to a mountain to a decision you make, is a caustic formation. It's a point of focus where reality actually takes shape. This slide is absolutely key because it breaks down these two fields for us. On one side, you have the light field. Think of it as timeless, absolute truth. It's the source of all structure and command. Then, on the other side, you have the sound field. This one is temporal, it's responsive, it's the medium where life and all the events we experience actually unfold. So reality, as we know it, is just the constant conversation happening between these two. Now, this interaction isn't just random chaos. The framework argues it follows a really specific blueprint, almost like a cosmic operating system. And it describes this system as the 237 code. And this code is actually pretty elegant. 2 stands for duality, the simple fact that everything seems to be created in pairs. 3 stands for the test. That's the dynamic interaction, the push and pull between those pairs. And finally, 7 stands for completion, the final outcome, the resolution, and the return back to the source. And what's really fascinating here is that this whole spiritual process is said to have a simple, perfect mathematical parallel. It's not just being presented as a story, but as a deep structure that's actually reflected in numbers. So this is the cycle that's so crucial to understand. It all starts from a single origin. It then moves into duality, which naturally leads to a test. That's followed by a decree or a kind of judgment, and then finally a return all the way back to that single origin. The framework illustrates this whole idea with a really cool numerical analogy. That 5-step cycle we just saw, it's symbolically mirrored in the number 12321. Why that number? Because it's what you get when you multiply 111 by itself. It represents this perfect, symmetrical journey out from a single point and right back to the beginning. Okay, so with all those concepts in our back pocket, we can finally go back to our initial mystery. Why on earth did the mountain collapse while the man survived and returned? The answer, it turns out, is all about how things travel back to their source. So according to this framework, everything in the universe is basically a form of vibration happening in that sound field we talked about. But, and this is a huge but, when a vibration tries to return to its origin in the light field, that journey isn't guaranteed. It all comes down to the state of that vibration. So that vibration can be in one of two states, noise or silence. Think of noise as a signal that's just cluttered with interference and static. It's picked up all this extra stuff and no longer matches the pure signature of its origin. Silence, on the other hand, is a purified signal. It's shed all of its temporary, borrowed form. It's a perfect identity match to the source, so it can return smoothly through resonance, not through some kind of violent collision. And right here, this is the aha moment for our puzzle. The mountain, being this piece of super condensed matter, was essentially a particle state of pure noise. It was fixed, it was rigid, and it was completely unable to let go of its borrowed material form. So what happens when the pure light field, the source itself, makes direct contact with something that's just a noisy copy of itself? The mountain just couldn't handle that massive vibrational difference. The static was just too much. With no buffer between its noisy self and its pure origin, it just collapsed, disintegrated. This slide just brings it all together beautifully. The mountain, being in a state of pure noise, collapsed on contact. End of story. It did not return. But Mūsā, as a conscious human being, was able to exist right there on the threshold of that boundary. He experienced its absolute limit and fainted, sure, but his essence, his being, didn't collapse. He was able to process that incredible interaction, and he returned. So where does all of this leave us? Well, this framework isn't just about trying to explain one single story. Its supporters claim it actually offers a whole new way to understand the very fabric of physics itself. The source material is proposing that this model gives us a completely new lens to view foundational scientific principles. It suggests that things we've been studying for centuries are all just emergent properties of this deeper, dual-field reality. I mean, this is where the implications get really, really broad. Take the arrow of time. In this view, it's not just about increasing disorder or entropy, it's the accumulated record of choices made by the light field. Or gravity. It's not just space-time being curved by mass, but a kind of geometric echo from the interaction between these two fields. And even the big one, E equals mc squared, is seen here as describing the literal conversion process happening between the light and sound fields. And this leads to what is probably the boldest claim in the source material, that this is not some new theory being applied to an old text just to make it fit. Instead, the claim is that these are the very structural mechanics that this ancient text has been describing all along, just waiting for a modern lens that could finally understand it. Ultimately, what this model suggests is that the universe isn't just a collection of random objects and events, but a coherent, structured text filled with signs and meaning. It's a text that's constantly being written by this interplay of command and mercy, of light and sound. And that, of course, leaves us with one final, pretty big thought. If reality is a text, what story is it telling you?